Hello, I'm Brianna. Welcome to My Life on Paper, and welcome back to 31 Days of Cut Files with MK and Janet. And that MK is with some assembly required. Today is this adorable, I call it adorable. It's gears, but look at that mouse. I knew exactly what photos I was going to do. So I took my, let's see, vintage photo distress oxide, and I probably should have done it before I backed the cut file, but that's okay. I'm just trying to give it like a modeling effect. You know, you can see where some is darker, some is lighter, so not trying to be careful with it at all. And I printed I cut out my cut file on this craft paper. I thought it was craft paper, period, and it actually has a pattern on the back with gold arrows, which I will use some of that paper on this layout. So I've been enjoying these cut files and that it does a lot of work for you on the paper. This one was a little bit more challenging for me, and then I'll explain that as we get to it. But I love the way it turns out in the end. This is a Bow Bunny paper. I wanted something with a little bit that looked like texture. It's just a patterned paper, so I was glad to get that out of my stash. So I had started off with just a 4x6 photo of a mouse that is carved into a pew of a church. That was in England when we went on our hike. And I wasn't liking the way it was just fitting on the page and tucking in there. So I went and I made I actually got, well, you can see I have four photos there. So one's off to the right and I don't use that, but I made them smaller. So I made them 3x4 size, and I'm going to use three of these photos. And I actually managed to use the 4x6 that I originally developed as well. Here, those little circles are the back sides of the paper that I used for the cut file. They came out of, there were pieces that came out of the cut file. So you can see the middle of the gears, and I'm going to use those as embellishments. And I do a lot of kind of scooting around of the photos. I've got that one journaling spot there I'm trying to use. I'm not sure if it's going to stay or not at this point. Um, but I was going to use that one like journaling spot as to back the photo. But now my brain is going and I'm thinking, ooh, I could use this 4x6 because it's got the mouse on it. It's got a lot of space that's kind of is not being used that you can cover up. So I'm going to use that to kind of um, frame my photo. Uh, I thought I was being very clever. And then what I figure out is, you know what? I don't have to use the cut file the way it was made. So I'm going to cut this gear out, and it could have stayed there and I could have overlapped it and it would have been fine. But I just was thinking I needed a little more space up there for my picture. So I'm going to, give the rest of that, um, I'm going to give the rest of that gear a little trim. And I wasn't thinking about it at this time, but that I am able to use that gear in a different spot on the layout. So that works out well. I don't think I will have a video for tomorrow, but I will definitely be back for Sunday, for our sketch Sunday. Next, you'll see me kind of just making sure I got a perfect placement for the cut file. I will just stick the photo up into the corner there, mat it on the other photo, and I'm looking at trapped space is really kind of what's drawing to me. There's a lot of space that can be considered trapped space, and they're gears. So I don't think that that's necessarily a big problem. And then I'm trying to figure out how I want to get these photos on the bottom, because I do have a lot of space that I can play with as far as what can be covered up and what not. But this necessarily didn't come easy. I did a lot of work with this, which was okay. I did go into my stash to find the other things that might go with this. I went into my white embellishments and I came with this tag, and I just like the way that went better, and probably size was wise, it went better as well for my journaling spot. So you can see I brought that other gear in there to tuck in there, and I'm going to try to figure out where that tag should go. Um, and I want to get some extra color down behind the cut file. So I just take the same Distress Oxide vintage photo in the spray and get some of that down, let it dry, and then I am gonna place that. You're barely gonna see that little little mouth sticking out behind the photo there, but I am going to get the cut file glued down at this point so that I can then start working on where those photos go on the right corner, right lower corner. So I'll use my ATG just to get the upper part of that cut file down. And then I'm still looking at like, trapped spaces, although again, you can see there is absolutely trapped spaces in between those gears, right? Which is totally fine. But this is kind of where my photos are gonna lay. I'm gonna stick some um, thread through the tag. And then I find these, I think these are the last three florals I have like this. And they've just been hanging out in my stash for a while. They're kind of a materially, like a cloth. I guess everything is a material, but like a cloth type texture or material. And I have already glued down buttons, and I happen to have three buttons of the same color, so that worked well. And I'm going to put some adhesive foam tape behind each of the flowers. And then I will figure out about getting these circles down for my clusters. And I don't know why, but the first arrow went to the right, and then all the rest of them go to the left because they're kind of pointing at the pictures. So I will come back in a moment and change the direction of the arrows on the bottom circle. Down below, I will have listed the playlist for the 31 days of cut files. I hope to get back to, at some point, filling in the cut files that I didn't get to use in the first part of the month. I do have all my photos planned for those cut files, so I'm super excited to be using them. We're getting towards the end of the month. Next month is Scraptember with the Scrappy Sisters. So there is a prompt each day of the month that they share, which is always something I love, love, love to do because it makes me get out of my box and makes me do different things. I will not be participating every day, but I have it mapped out of what I want to do next month and which days I want to do. So be looking forward to that. All right, I am also popping the circles up with the foam adhesive tape. Actually, I've got some of those. I don't think you probably could see the circles, just the little circles. I'm not sure where those are from. Those were gifted to me. But those make it easy to get things popped up. And then this is, I believe it's an American Crafts, and I knew I wanted gold because it ties in with the arrows, but it just says today, and I thought that was good. And there's room for journaling. The final piece I have to add are these little gems that are gold, and they were just sitting on my desk, and they're perfect, and I stick them into those circly clusters, and that's it. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a fabulous day, and please come back and see me again soon.